Everyone, welcome to our December meeting. It's the last meeting of the year, and we have Mr. Rodriguez, who is the assistant principal for engineering, technology, and CTE. He's our special guest today. Um, so, yeah, you want to get started?
How about now? Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, technical glitches, of course. All right, so well, thank you everyone for being here this evening. First of all, I want to say literally from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because I think that the biggest predictor of success for a student at Brooklyn Tech is having a parent or guardian involved and being aware of what your students are embarking on, the journey that they're in, and what the possible outcomes are. So that's really, really, really important. And no matter how big or how small your contribution is, even if it's just asking your child after a few days, what's something cool you've learned today, that goes a long way to giving students that confidence that they're really achieving something great here because it's very busy here at Tech. Okay, so I'm Mark Rodriguez. I'm the assistant principal for engineering, computer science, technology. I mean, all the CTE, pretty much the CTE majors. And so all the CTE stuff falls under my supervision. And that means a lot of things. So for a lot of your, let's say, juniors and seniors, that means one thing. And for your freshmen and sophomores, that means another. So let me just give you a quick overview of the CTE program so you can understand what it's all about. And for anyone who's been there, I mean, feel free to ask questions or chime in. But what happens is at Brooklyn Tech, we're all aware of the major system, and it's a very wonderful system for students to select and get to sort of play around with some sort of major in their universe. So one thing that they can do at the end of the sophomore year is choose a major, and one of those majors could be a CTE major. Okay. So your child's exposure to CTE starts not at the end of sophomore year, but actually starts at freshman year. So all freshmen take a course called DDP, um, Design for Digital Production, and that's a CTE course, okay, whether you know it or not. The next year in the sophomore year, they take AP Computer Science Principles, which is also another CTE course, okay? But now, at the end of their sophomore year, what they'll end up doing is they'll end up choosing a major. And if one of those majors are a CTE course, then they will continue in the CTE sequence. Okay, so let's pretend that you want to pick one of those majors. Those majors are going to become the aerospace major, it's going to be the civil engineering major, architecture major, electrical engineering major, mechatronics robotics major, industrial design major, media major, software engineering major, a lot of majors that I'm sort of you know worrying about. There's also I'm leaving one out, and basically industrial design, media, architecture, software. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I've covered them all. Basically, it's eight different majors. And what differs from those majors from their other majors, like law and society or anything else like that, is that our curriculum and the way we operate is sort of centered around industry focus. So, okay, let's talk about CT, career and technical education. So what that means is students are sort of have a leg up, or we have a program that's designed to make sure that they have successful outcomes after high school. And a successful outcome to CT is the ability to enter a four-year university program and do well at it so that they can succeed very well and get a good job afterwards. Or even if they decide not to go into a four-year institution, that they have enough industry skills. Okay. So here at Brooklyn Tech, that means a lot of things. That means your students still, we're all going to college, but they're very, very competitive at getting an internship. And why are they competitive at getting an internship? It's because during your junior and senior year, okay, we're going to put you in courses that really mimic what it's like to work in some of the industries. So to give you an example, in our civil engineering major, you're going to have students doing surveying class. They're going to do concrete testing. In our mechatronics, they're going to work in a computer integrated manufacturing lab where they're using robots to essentially manufacture pieces of equipment. In a software engineering major, they're learning how to deal with cybersecurity issues. They're learning how to build servers and actually work on enterprise level computing and build machine learning models. And many of our majors are doing work that is really akin to third or fourth year university work or even industry work. On top of that, right, the students get an opportunity to earn 54, and they're required to earn 54 hours of work-based learning. Okay, what does that mean? So that is a combination of a lot of things. That means a guest speaker coming in, talking about different career paths, what things to study in college. It also means getting an internship, and most of the time it's a paid internship within that field. And usually there's a lot of large companies that are looking for students who are very well equipped to handle industry level work, and our kids are the best, frankly. And they get paid internships at these companies. Okay. So they will usually work 54 hours with a company. There's also something called a workplace challenge, which means we may have a company come in and give a challenge to the students or a project, kind of like a hackathon style, where we get all the kids together, we get all the students and say, hey, this is our thing. Why don't you propose a solution? Give us a product, design a product, or something of that nature. Okay. And what usually happens is the students work together and they collaborate. And again, that's something different about our courses. Our courses have very strong collaboration built into it because we're really focused on building soft skills on top of industry technical skills and the academic skills, right? So that students are prepared to work with each other. All right. So what my goal is, in my role is to have students when they enter that first year of university, they're ready for an internship. They don't have to wait 3 years to sort of get into that college internship that's the first stepping stone to a long and prosperous career, right? They have tools. They're used to working with others. They're used to communicating. They're used to managing projects, and they're used to interdisciplinary projects, right? So even if you're a electrical engineer, right, you're still concerned and you learn about some things that have to deal with a civil engineer, so you know how to work together. Also with that, we have teachers who have industry experience. So a lot of our teachers in my department, they're career changers. Myself, I'm a career changer, right? I've changed careers, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and hopefully this is it. But basically, what that means is the students have access to faculty that can talk about, their own personal college decisions and their own path, which is a lot of times not linear. It's not straightforward, but it's a path that leads to, many different careers that our teachers have been a part of. It also means that at the end of our 3 years, usually there's some sort of industry certification that students take. What does that mean? That means some certificate, some credential, some industry recognized test, you can call it that, right? That says, hey, this student is proficient in, I'll take an example, AutoCAD. Okay. So that means that this student now has something in a resume, okay, that really can show and set them apart from everybody else in college, right? Also, I'll keep going. There's part of these courses are also PLTW courses, which are called Project Lead the Way. So a lot of those courses actually result in college credit. So while you have AP exams, okay, in the AP exams, you score high enough, and the school, if they're so inclined, they'll give you credit for those courses. Project Lead the Way courses usually have an articulation agreement with other universities. One example is Rochester Institute of Technology, where a lot of our students go to, where students will receive a transcript that says you've earned 3 credits in a course. I'll say, give you an example, like digital electronics from Rochester Institute of Technology. And whether or not you choose to go there, you can still transfer those credits as transfer credits. So those are already credits in your hand. They're not credits that are sort of in the air, waiting for a university to decide whether or not they're going to give you credit for it. No, these are credits that they can transfer. And sometimes they transfer directly, sometimes they're used as electives, but nonetheless, they're, solid college credits. So there's a lot going on in the CTE world. There's a lot of diversity in the majors. We have a lot of different majors. We have a lot of different diverse populations in the majors as well. And one thing I'm most proud of is that we form our own little communities. So each of these majors sort of form a small little family within the larger context of Brooklyn Tech. And that's important because I think once you enter a school with so many students, it's nice to have a family that is sort of like, going through the same courses, facing similar challenges to you, looking forward to similar, colleges, universities, the applications, looking at the different internship opportunities. So that really brings students together. And you can see a lot of that in our majors. Let me see if there's anything else I can mention. I think that, think again, I feel one of the best parts of Brooklyn Tech. I feel it's one of the best programs in Brooklyn Tech because we do give, not just academic rigor. We are, doing, very, very complex stuff. But our goal is continuously aiming for that 3rd and 4th year university type of material. So when students get to college, they say, I've seen this before. I can tackle it. No problem. Right? They also say, come time for an internship, they know how to interview. They know what it's like to use a project management tool, to use spreadsheets, to use a Trello board, to use, agile development if you're into software engineering and things like that. And they say, no problema, I got this. And that's really important to us. The other thing too, I'd like to say about the CT program, we're continuously looking to upgrade our program, and that's my own, that's of my own doing. It's part of my philosophy that I think that no course should really be the same as it is 5 years ago. So we're continuously looking for projects and units of study and things that sort of, reflect what's going on in the job market right now. So students are really, really competitive when they get into college, for those, let's say, internship opportunities or research opportunities. Some examples in civil engineering, we've introduced like a sustainability course as an elective. In electrical engineering, we've introduced analog electronics along with our digital electronics to sort of balance the electrical engineering curriculum. So students are very well versed in a lot of the courses they'll see in college. In our software engineering department, we've recently introduced mobile app development. So students are using, up to the minute, literally, tools, right? The latest and greatest tools to build Android and iOS apps. We've added cybersecurity. We've added also, so we're constantly looking at adding courses, and we're also looking at the courses that do exist at changing one unit at a time so that they do reflect what's going on in the real world, right? So if your students are any of our CTE majors, rest assured they're getting a great experience by collaborating with other students. They're getting a wonderful education in terms of the rigor and the level of stuff that they're doing, and they're getting a relevant education. So they're really well prepared for when they get into university and beyond that. So I know that was a lot. So I think there's some questions. I don't know if anyone wants to read the questions, or Mary, if you want to, I can read the questions, or you can. I see. There's a couple of questions I think that came to me via direct message, so perhaps no one else sees that. But I'll make a question. So yes, one of the questions asked, do freshmen have access to like visual design courses? So the answer is during your freshman year, you're very busy. Okay, your freshman year students take DDP, digital design production, where they're using basically AutoCAD Inventor, which and Fusion 360, which are very industry ready tools that are used that are the foundation for the media major. So there, think of it as the building block. Okay, so like some of the advanced courses they wouldn't have access to immediately as freshmen because they really need that fundamental knowledge of how to use a tool like that to get into later courses. So a lot of times if you see a lot of courses, and this is one way to pick a major for all those parents that, who are like, worried or concerned, if there are a lot of tools that you see or things that you see that are really cool in a certain major, pick it, because that's the way you're going to get access to it. In some rare cases, there are electives that we can offer, but sometimes those don't require prerequisite, right? Prerequisite knowledge. So, really to get like, to get the latest and greatest tools and to get the best of the best, you want to pick that major. Okay, I see computer engineering, cybersecurity. There's a question about someone's daughter who wants to pursue that. And okay, so getting into that major in your junior year. So okay, a lot of you will hear about the major selection. And I think the statistic lately is that 97 to 98% of students get their first choice. Okay, so I think that you can rest assured you can be pretty confident that you will get your first choice. Make sure it's your first choice. Do not try to game the system. Do not, it's not like a high school application where if I put the school I really want as my second choice and the reach as my first choice. No, make it your first choice. The rare instances that you don't get your first choice, I mean, sometimes there's circumstances where there's a student that needs to make up certain credits, so they may not have time in their schedule to pick that particular major. But if you really want to, if you really want to get into a major, and if you see something that you really like, go for it. Pick it, and don't be too afraid. Okay, these aren't lifelong decisions, right? This is a student's chance to experience something, and perhaps it's something that they don't directly use in college, university. Perhaps they, go into, let's say, computer software engineering and decide to go into biomedical research. But skills that they'll learn, how to collaborate, how to use certain data tools, computational tools, rest assured, those things are going to be used. I've walked into many biology room in
Yeah.
college and even my own research university, and I've seen people having to learn computer science from scratch. So a lot of times, like, pick these majors because you have a chance to do something cool that you really don't have a chance to do otherwise. Um, Okay, internships, I see the question. So if your child is already a junior, or perhaps even a senior, one thing you can expect is we will reach out to you. So you will see, you'll see a Google Classroom for what we call WBL. So that's work-based learning. Okay. And our work-based learning coordinator will reach out to the students and say, okay, here are the different opportunities that are presented to you. We can, here's some forms to fill out. For instance, like, you'll have to get working papers, you have to fill out an I-9. If you're not a citizen, that's fine too. We find, there's different things we can do to work around that. So that's perfectly fine. It's a very important mission of mine that everyone who chooses a CTE major is included in this opportunity, regardless of any kind of status. So it's really important to do that. So it's we will be reaching out to you. You'll see a Google Classroom and there'll be announcements. So I really encourage your student to keep track of that Google Classroom, listen to the announcements. When there are opportunities to come in, there'll usually be a form or a sign up and some sort of deadline. And also our work-based learning coordinator interviews the students individually. So one by one, your student will be asked to come down, make an appointment, and we'll ask about what the student likes, what are they strong at, what are their weaknesses, and perhaps they find a good fit that way. Um, okay, another question I see here is changing a major. Okay, so changing a major is extremely difficult. And I don't want to sound discouraging in that, but there's a lot of moving parts to it. And it's not so much about, no one wants to do it or anything like that. And it's not about the headache of it. But, you have to take into account that, all the majors are sort of designed so our students can achieve graduation, easily. So what that means is changing major might put a student in a credit deficit situation. It's also interesting because it's also a seat that we cannot offer. There's not enough movement for us to say, okay, if a student drops one major in one situation, someone else can take that place. And there's a lot of resources allocated to it. My Some advice I would say is to stick with it. One of the things we learn in high school, especially when you get to college, that's important, is that perseverance. And there's going to be many courses that students do not want to take in college, even if it's in the major, your dream major. I can tell you off the top of my head at least 4 or 5 courses in college that I completely did not enjoy, but they were necessary to get through, to get to the end point. And the way to look at it, if you're in a major that really doesn't fit, and talk to people, talk to your counselors, talk to a social worker, perhaps there's something else going on that really, really requires some sort of change. But usually 9 times out of 10, I would say it's really worthwhile to stick with it, because you really think that there's one course does not define a major. And I'll give you an example. And a lot of the CTE majors, our courses are meant to be different. It's not like if you take a civil engineering course, everything you're going to do is exactly the same in one course. While one time you might be working with concrete, the other time you might be working, let's say with surveying tools. Another time you'll be working on technical drawings. Another time you'll be building and worrying about the physics behind a beam, a structural beam. So if you think about it, it's great to, stick with it. This is something a student really doesn't like. That's fine. And what's good about that is you know that this is something you don't want to look into for college, right? It's because it's very difficult when you go through college and expensive these days to go through 2 years of college to realize, you don't like the major. And then, where are you? It's very stuck. So I would say you really would use that opportunity. I mean, like I said, because it's very, very difficult, and in only in extreme cases can we change a major. Um, Stick with it. You'll be surprised. Okay. I think there's another question here. Okay, how does work-based learning work? Okay, and let me see. I'll look at the other one because just in case there might be some questions that are let's say, are related, so I can answer 2 questions at once. And there's another question about says, is there any way Brooklyn Tech CTE part can help my daughter? Okay. All right, great. So basically all about internships. So once you've chosen a major, once you've chosen a CTE major, okay, that means that you're committed and we are committed. It's a two-way commitment here to getting you an internship. So what that means is you've taken enough courses by usually the spring semester of your junior year that you can be very productive in a workplace environment. So what does that mean? That means you have enough skills to say, okay, I can walk into an architecture office and I can start working on drawings, or I can start doing some renderings. If I'm in the media major, I can go and start, creating, video animation projects. If I'm in the software engineering department, I can go and use a Linux bash shell to, determine whether or not a server is getting hit too many times. If I'm an electrical engineering major, I can walk in and do a circuit analysis or, do some testing on some equipment. So that means that you've garnered enough skills. We reach out to you because opportunities do come in. We search out for those opportunities, right? Because of our CTE program, opportunities are presented to us. We get to vet those opportunities. So we're making sure that your children are going to a safe location. We're making sure that the jobs they're doing aren't just menial tasks. We make sure they're relevant and they are pushing our students forward. So they are engaging and they are in touch with people from the industry that will help them and act as mentors in many ways. So we're really big on finding these internships ourselves, and then we bring them to you. So as opportunities come up, and let's pick a software engineering major. Let's say if you're a junior in a software engineering major, most likely in the spring, and usually that's around the time where students are going to turn 16 and they have different papers. That if you need working papers, you can get that as well. We'll be able to present an opportunity to you. So we'll say, hey, Amazon's one of the companies that our students internship at. So Amazon is looking for, 10 internships to do this kind of project. Who would be interested in this? And then we would look at students who might fit a profile and we would ask students to sign up if they're interested in that kind of work. And we'd give an outline of the work and some of the projects that we're working on. And then from there, we'll hopefully, get an offer to that student. But we have many successful internships at large companies. We have, JP Morgan Chase, we have Amazon, we have we're having like law firms, we're having architecture firms like FX Collaborative. I mean, there's many different firms that are out there actively recruiting our students because our students come with many, many, many strong technical skills and they know how to collaborate. They know how to behave in the workplace. They understand what it is to be in an interdisciplinary situation where one person may not be a content expert, but they need to communicate somehow. Now, if you're okay, so now there's interesting. There's a question about, let's say, if there's a freshman student. So typically those work-based learning experiences, they are paid, and that's paid with New York State and New York City funding, and that has to go to students who are completing or will likely complete a CTE program. So some of those internships, I mean, so a lot of those opportunities, quite frankly, are made, are given our CTE students, excuse me, our junior, senior CTE students are given priority for those situations. Okay. However, I would say if you're a freshman or a sophomore and you're really interested in the CTE, I would contact our work-based learning coordinator. I mean, it's on the, go on the first floor. I mean, contact me and see if there's ways to get involved somehow. There's some ways to get involved tangentially in like joining a club with the major, and you might learn a lot about that. But also sometimes we might have different challenges that say, that are underutilized. So for instance, if we have an opportunity with an internship that says, we need more students and we simply don't have enough that fit a certain profile because they don't have a certain skill and some of that, that's something we might possibly look into. Again, that would have to be a case by case basis. So I don't want to say there's a policy or a procedure in place to incorporate freshman or sophomore in the work-based learning program. But however, we're definitely open. And my best advice is become a CTE major. So if you really want to get involved in that, definitely. All right. So all CTE majors will be offered internships, so no worries about that. There are some aerospace companies. There are actually some aerospace companies that are manufacturers, and I can rattle off lists off the top of my head, but I that would just go get everyone into a frenzy. But there's some that are on Long Island. In aerospace, believe it or not, like our kids get a wide variety of exposure to things. So a lot of our students are in FAA flight school. So it's not just about flying planes. It's also about building the pieces, the equipment necessary to be on a plane. So there are some internships, especially we have aerospace companies coming into Brooklyn Tech who give a project to our aerospace kids. So you might see some of that. And the average cost, this is a very good question. Okay, the cost of converting the college level classes to credits. Okay, that is essentially about, I think it's $240, okay, for a course. So it's 3 credits at $240 at a course, and the transcript would come from Rochester Institute of Technology. So you'll see, it's a very well-known accredited engineering school. It turns out that a lot of students, go there, and that's, I'm not gonna. It's reasonable in some cases. I realize it's not as cheap, and I'm not so happy with that. I've been trying to work with community-based organizations and the College Board, I mean, sorry, not the College Board, PLTW and RIT to see if we can get some of that subsidized. I don't have anything yet for everybody, but that's something I'm really concerned about. But right now, if you were to take, let's say, I'll give you an example, an aerospace engineer has the potential for converting DDP, Principles of Engineering, a junior level course, and the computer integrated manufacturing. So that's 3 courses. That's 9 credits. That's $240 a course. So you're looking at a bill of about $720, but you would get 9 credits of college credits. And media information. So yeah, media, I mean, media is a wonderful major. You have some experts in the media field who are teaching that major, which I'm extremely proud of, who have done work with animation and marketing tools. And the students are learning all sorts of wonderful Adobe visual, tools. They're learning about, motion. We're trying to get a motion capture, we're trying to get a motion capture system in here for that. So there's going to be a lot of buzz coming on the media major. I think, again, that's one of those things that I'm looking at is continuously improving each of our majors. So as Mary's posted in the chat, definitely, have students, attend the major fairs. Also have them reach out when they see something cool on the wall and they see a teacher or they see students working on something that's very interesting. Don't be shy. And I know that's hard to say for a lot of our students, but all they have to do is talk to their teachers. I mean, like myself, we can talk all day long about stuff that we're passionate about. And the one thing I gotta say is my CT teachers are passionate about their industry. They're passionate about the projects they do. So really, if you really want to learn a lot about that major, you should really talk to the teachers who are teaching it. They can talk about the new things that are coming on. Last year, we were leaking out, and I say leak, but we were talking about the possibility, strong possibility of building the mobile app development course for our software engineering major. And we had a lot of students signed up. And sure enough, here we are rolling it out in our first year, and it's been nothing but a big success. So go to the major fairs, but also talk to the teachers. Your students are peers are also a good source of information. So, but also I've gotta temper that a little bit, right? So a junior could have like 3 tests in a day and just be in a bad mood and say, "Oh, I'm so upset I picked this major because there's so much math involved." But then if you ask them a year later, forget about it. They're gonna be extremely, extremely happy with it. And myself, I'm a Bronx Science graduate, and I know what it's like to go to a specialized high school. And I've got to say that your students will really, really get a sense of what they've done at Brooklyn Tech years after they've graduated. I'm gonna continue down with the questions. So there's the major fair. We talked about that. So yeah, I mean, even if you're young, I mean, and skip the grade, I was in that situation as well. There is, but just we ask students to fill out all this paperwork all the paperwork they're eligible to figure out because that sometimes can determine the kind of internship they get. So sometimes there may be an internship that requires a student to have working papers, and there's some that don't. Again, I like I said, I'm really big about equity, and I know there's a lot of students who don't necessarily have, the ability to get working papers because they're not, they don't have the documentation to do that. And that's a big concern for me. And so that we do have other situations and other internships and opportunities for those students. So don't worry about it. Even if they're younger, we simply ask all the forms they can fill out and you'll get a list. You'll get like, an I-9, which is a typical form if you're a US citizen. There's, or even a resident as well. I think that there's working papers as well, and you'll see that all in your work-based learning Google Classroom. So every student who's in a CTE major will have a Google Classroom for work-based learning. They should have that now. Okay, receiving credit for DDP and comp sci classes. Okay, so DDP is one of those courses that everyone, even if you don't choose to be a CTE major, you have basically a few years, right? For after taking the course, you have up until your senior year basically to apply to RIT. So nothing that anyone needs to be concerned with, but we've recently changed the procedure for doing that. Nothing that you'll notice. It's all stuff on my end, so don't worry about it. But I'm gonna release very, very soon. I'm hoping to do that by the end of this week. Might be a stretch, but I think I might be able to do that. But we'll be releasing the form. Okay. There's certain sign up dates. So I believe the next sign up date is going to be sometime in January, and RIT will also have webinars. And I've also asked them to perform their own Brooklyn Tech webinar, where they can talk about what it means to get the credit, right? So when it comes to like DDP, for instance, your student gets a score, and if they receive an 85 in the grade, right, in the actual transcript grade or higher, and depending on the score, they'll receive a college grade. They'll receive an A, B, C, or ABC grade, right? There's no D for that. And so all that information is going to come out, very soon. It's not only for DDP, it's also, again, it's also for principles of engineering. It's also for digital electronics. It's also for computer integrated manufacturing. So there's a bunch of courses actually that students are taking throughout their time in the CT program that they'll be able to get college credit for. Comp Sci, if you're talking about the sophomore Comp Sci course, that's an AP exam. So again, typically what happens is if you score a 3 or higher, most schools give you credit, but I will warn you, and then this is not a CTE thing, but one thing you have to be concerned with or just think about, keep in mind, is that schools make decisions based on, what major you're going into and what their own program is. I myself, I scored very high on an AP exam, and my school was like, we're not giving you any credit for it. And and they were right, right about that because the level of rigor that was being taught at the university was much higher than the AP course that I'd taken at Bronx Science even. And so that's up to a university. It's on their decision and usually sometimes influenced by which major you pick, you know. So that's an AP course. Okay, I think let me see the juniors. So some internships are available during the summer. I mean, there definitely are, those opportunities. So I would say juniors typically, like I said, the offers start coming in and the discussions of it start coming in close to the spring semester. The fall semester, students are getting into the swing of things, and the truth is, like, they're learning some skills right there and then, and we want to make sure that they're really prepared for these internships. So you can see most of the applications start the spring semester junior. So the spring, there's the summer between your junior and senior year. There's the fall. There's some internships that happen during the day. So some students can be placed on a special schedule where you leave school early to go to a workplace, or in some cases work remotely. So I would so students, how do students proceed? They watch that WBL page like a hawk. They just watch that. They should get announcements on that talking about all the different internships, and that's the number one way to explore internships. If you have access to a company or you think that there's a possibility that you can get your internship on your own, we don't discourage that. That's fine as well. But we would need to know about it, and we would need to talk about that internship simply because like we do vet. Like I personally take it serious that I want to know that every one of my students and every or any of my students, any of the students at Brooklyn Tech for that matter, are in workplaces that are safe and appropriate for the students. So a lot of times we want to make sure that they're in a good place. And we also want to make sure that they're getting the 54 hours credit because what happens is when you get these 54 hours of credit, you get a stamp on the diploma that says you've been CTE endorsed. And okay, another question about the media major taking some software engineering classes. Sure, there are in a lot of our majors, there are what we call electives, and if there's sometimes space, we can offer some electives. So for instance, in the software engineering major, we offer AP Comp Sci Java A, I mean Comp Sci A, which is computer science applications. What that is that's the object-oriented language of Java being taught at a higher level than computer science principles. And that's an example of a elective that's open to all regardless of the major. So definitely look out for that. Occasionally you'll find, especially we're piloting a new course. I'll give you an example, like our mobile app development this year. So we kind of opened that up for everybody just to give it a shot. And okay, so definitely, apply for the electives as soon as possible, as soon as that opportunity comes up. I have a question here about, are you still able to transfer credits if you pass or failed a class? So not sure. Okay. Again, not sure on the direct context of it. And then please, if you have any specific questions, you can email me directly. But for those college credits, usually what happens for the PLTW courses like DDP, digital electronics, and so forth, you need to score an 85 or above in the class. So if you failed, let's say DDP, then you're not going to be able to get college credit for that particular class. For an AP class, again, a college may look at this and say, okay, you failed the class, but you got a score on an AP exam. Again, I think it's a again, that's that's up to the college. But so since it's such an idiosyncratic situation, I can't say with any certainty that anything can happen there. I see one more question about a law and society major applied to internships. So we're definitely constrained by resources, right? Because New York City and New York State give us money for these internships. So when we go out to these companies, we are actually paying the student's salary. So there definitely is a limit so that we can't offer the internships to everyone. But I will say this, like there's a lot of lessons learned about procuring internships and just the process of it that we do share with the others with the school community and as a whole. So I wouldn't worry, again, while we can't have a WBL dedicated to getting internships for a law and society person, but if they come down to the CTE office, perhaps they can see if there's something comes up. I would stay in touch with email and because a lot of internships do come our way and some of them are appropriate for our students because of what our students are taking. Some of them make no sense for our students because it's something that our students are not learning about or participating in. So, I would, basically it's like putting feelers out, making sure you talk to CTE major teachers. Also, if you're a law and society major, I know some of your teachers, they're former lawyers. Um, Talk to them as well. They go on trips that sometimes I attend, and I think just because I'm pretty much I'm a very industry oriented person, so I go to a lot of different events like that. And we're always on the lookout, and we always hear about that. So sometimes, just keep in touch with a lot of different people. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so no. I mean, I when I say all the students, okay, I mentioned that all CTE students will be given the opportunity for an internship, and that's true. All students would get that opportunity to earn the 54 hours. Things occur in the individual student situation where perhaps they don't have time because they need to make up credit or something like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, pragmatically, there's some students who don't get an who not that they don't get an internship, but they simply choose to not participate or they simply can't, right? Again, an internship depends on, your availability to work, perhaps during the summer or after school or something like that. And there's some students who, have obligations and they really can't meet that. But we will offer all students an internship who are in the CTE majors. And the WB hours, they're usually met mostly by internships. They're not it's not really much clubs that can offer credit hours towards the 54 hours, but there are mentor programs that you're speaking of here. So there are like job shadowing programs. So for instance, if we have a guest speaker who's a CEO of a firm, and they speak to our students for like 1 hour, we can count that as 1 hour of WBL experience. So there's more than one way to sort of accumulate those 54 hours. And many of our students do a hybrid approach like that. So some students will spend 40 hours on an internship, but then they'll have the 14 remaining hours from going to different talks or, maybe attending a conference or going on a field trip. One great thing about our CTE program, which I haven't mentioned yet, is that we constantly go out on field trips. What we do is we take majors. So every CTE major, we take them to a field trip that's related in the industry that they're in, and they get exposure to, industry experts, they exposure to companies, they get to see work sites, they get to network. So that's also included in some of those hours. All right. Any other questions? People, I mean, you can,
Any
I
more
want
questions for Mr. Rodriguez?
to mute, put them in chat.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much. That was so informative.
Okay. And I'll put one last plug. Join the CTE world. You'll get an education that's rigorous, that really teaches you a lot of soft skills, that teaches you how to collaborate, give you industry experience, and really expose you to people who know about colleges and things like that. So I think and it's a curriculum that we're constantly updating. So even if you have a sibling that's taken the same major 4 or 5 years ago, it won't look anything the same.
It sounds different. My eldest is a senior in college now, and he started in the aerospace major, and he's still there. He loved it so much. but it sounds like it's already, it's changed, but he loved it.
And again, feel free to contact my information's on the Brooklyn Tech website. Again, Mark Rodriguez, I'm the AP of Engineering, Technology, Computer Science, and CTE. So, any questions, please feel free. I get a lot of emails, so if I don't answer right away, don't take it personal. I will get back to you.
Well, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. And thank you again, parents. I mean, this is really amazing to have a strong community like this. It means this is the way we get things done here at Tech.
And it was great. I didn't expect such a good turnout. I'm going to mute because of my dog, but thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So next, I don't think Mr. Newman is here yet. So I guess we can start with the committee updates. Who wants to go? I see Ken and Lee here. I know Sharon's here. Anybody wants to jump in?
I can give an update on the finance, if that's okay.
Okay. Oh, wait, just give me a second. I'm sorry. We have to approve the minutes for the last meeting. I just wanted to quickly put that in the chat. If we
Sure.
can.
We'll give everybody a little while if you want to review them. And thank you everyone for coming tonight. And we have a really nice turnout. And I know this is a crazy week for everybody right before the holidays. So thank you so much for taking time to be here tonight. Tiffany, are you there?
Kim, can I give the update if Ken is not going to do that?
No,
Oh,
we
No,
need to
Ken's
get
gonna
the
go. We
minutes.
just
All right.
Tiffany
right.
just wanted to post something. She is still there. Okay,
Oh,
she just
okay,
wanted to
okay.
post something.
I'm just wondering if they should open in Google Doc.
He sent it to us as a PDF, so I don't know. That's why I sent it to you.
Okay. Okay. You know what, Ken, go ahead. I'll get it, figure it out, just so everybody's
And
not.
Sharon, you're right after Ken.
Sure. Yeah, because I see nobody speaking, so I thought I want to
Yes.
take a break. Okay, fine.
You're next in line, Sharon. So I said it first. So good evening, folks. I just want to give you a brief update on our finance as of November. As of last month, time flies. Can't believe it's in December already. So for the month of November, our revenue increased by about $27,000, as you can see from the chart, and mostly from annual appeal, plus about $1,000 from the Picture Day proceeds that we hosted back in April of 2024. Seems so long ago. That brings our total revenues today slightly over $10,000, representing about 26% of our annual fundraising target. Just want to give you a little preview on our fundraising initiative as for Giving Tuesday. We received about donations over $20,000. So thank you for your generous financial support to the PA. Turning to our spending, November was a slow month, and we spent about $4,700 for the entire month. And the major items are detailed on the slide, but I'll just call out a few of them, which is PA hospitality, including dinners and breakfasts with our rockstar principal, Mr. Newman. Several items that are specifically related to the PA, such as Zoom subscription. That's why we are all connected here tonight, plus insurance payments, as well as fundraising expenses for credit card charges. So that brings our annual spending to about $84,000. And as of November, I'm happy to say that I'm finally seeing a net income, no longer a deficit, for about $17,000. And our cash reserve was about excuse me, I wish, getting ahead of myself, about $420,000 as of the end of November. So that's pretty much it. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Sharon. Go ahead. Sharon, you there?
Yes. So I thought you were waiting for parents to ask you questions. So
No,
you're done?
I'm
Okay.
I'm done. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Ken. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Sharon May. I'm the co-VP of the diversity the committee. So I'm hosting and planning the Lunar New Year celebration with my partner Iris Chen. And as you can see today, today's TED Talk, the link for the ticket has been released. So the early bird discount will be ended by January 7, 2025. So please take the advantage to purchase ticket as soon as you can before the early bird discount expire. All the money we receive from the ticket selling will directly go to the PA to support students, school, and teachers, everything. So other than that, you can see, there's a great menu. We have about 13 courses menu, including seafood, meat, and also the vegetables. So, you can enjoy the fun night, raffles, and great performance from students and parents. If you do, you got talent, please contact us and perform on stage. And you can also, can dance with Principal Mr. Newman on stage as well. Hope to see everybody there. The event will be on February 7, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. And the Lunar New Year, it's a great event. I was hoping right now, Leslie, are you still here? I know you have to leave for another meeting. And I see Naeem. Leslie, are you here?
Yes, I am. Hi, Kim. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. So I'm Leslie. I'm your co-VP of fundraising. I don't have much updates. We are currently trying to find a venue for our spring gala. We're looking at different locations. We had some amazing locations that we're still exploring. Just price-wise, it may not work out for us. We want to make as much money as possible for you guys to give back to the school community. So we're still looking. Hopefully before the new year, we'll secure a spot for our gala. It is going to be sneakers and cocktails. So Kicks and Cocktails is actually the title. So you guys can wear your fancy sneakers and come out and support. We'll have some sneakers for auction, some limited edition sneakers. So that's really it for me on the fundraising side. I know Naeem, if he's on, he can talk more about our sponsors and what we're looking for. Currently, guys, we're looking for donations, sponsors for big ticket items. So if you have any connections, please reach out to us. Our gala, BTHS gala email is now open. And that's about it for me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Leslie. Hi, everyone. This is Naeem. Yes, we are currently working with a couple of sponsors for our Lunar New Year event and also our annual gala in May. We're working with a couple of test prep organizations and college prep organizations, as well as small local businesses. So if anybody here owns a local small business or knows one pretty closely that would like to be in the journals or help sponsor our events, please contact either anybody in the executive staff or myself, and we can contact those businesses directly because we want everybody involved because Brooklyn Tech's a very citywide school, so we know businesses in different areas, not just in Brooklyn, we want to participate. And a lot of the companies we work with are outside of Brooklyn. So if you know anyone, please reach out to us so we could reach out to them in a timely fashion. Hopefully, by the first few weeks of January, we could nail everything down, because the Lunar New Year event is coming up very soon on the 7th, and then followed by that in May for our annual gala. So thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone.
Thank you,
Hey,
Naeem.
Naeem, stick around. Monique, I think she may have had to sign off. Monique, are you there? Because Monique runs our events, but Naeem has been at many of our, we've done our breakfast and dinners with the principal, and Mr. Newman has been really very gracious with giving his time. And if I don't see Monique, does anyone see her? Because I know she said she had to, because of a work event, she might have to log off. So maybe Naeem, just tell everybody, because we're coming to an end for this year of the breakfast and dinner with the principal. So perhaps you could just.
I think she's
give us a
still
little-
listed on the attendees. I don't know if she's here or not, but she is still listed.
She might not be participating, right? I see her too. She's on mute. But yeah, I think we have our final breakfast tomorrow, right, of the year. And we had a great dinner. I was a host with Monique last Thursday with Principal Newman. It was raining pretty bad that day. I think it was last Wednesday. So we had a little lower turnout than usual. But overall, I've been to 2 or 3 of these events. It's great to see parents that are even seniors that come to these events, not only obviously mostly freshmen and sophomore parents, but Principal Newman's very candid, very open with us, and pretty much answers any questions. There's always a representative from the college office, usually around, and they'll speak to us. And we're here if we're going to continue with this program. It is one of the more expensive things that the PA does. That's part of our hospitality budget. But I think it's very important that we show everybody in the school community that Principal Newman is very accessible, has an open door policy. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to him directly. If not, at least the chairmans or the heads of each department. But I'd love to see these events continue, and I've seen great responses from the parents and feedback from the parents that attend.
Thanks, Naeem. It's a wonderful event because, for my first son, I never went to any of them, and I part of the board, I had to go and sit through a couple, and like once you sit through one, like, oh, it'll all be the same. It never is. There's always new questions that people ask, and Mr. Newman is happy to stay there and answer those questions. And it's really nice to hear, as a freshman parent or sophomore, what other kids are going through, because you think your kid's the only one that's having problems making friends or, are afraid to join a club. So it's a really great event. So for those of you that are not graduating, think about, even if you're a junior parent next year or a senior parent, think about going, because it's a really nice event. And you learn a lot, not just from Mr. Newman, but from the other parents that are there. All right, Tiffany, what have we got next? And in case Monique is not, as I said, Monique is probably, at her work event, but she's been doing a great job. The events committee has been doing a wonderful job arranging these breakfasts and dinners, because we do a lot of them and it ends right now. So they've been very, very busy.
We really appreciate them. They're really good for all the parents, and they've been really well organized. The dinners have been amazing this year. So thank you for being creative with that. We've had all sorts of different cuisines, like Jamaican and Cuban and I don't know, Vietnamese, just all really, really good food. So too late if you're a senior, but if you're not, you can come next year.
Kim, can I just add, I know I put it in the chat, but I just want everyone to be aware, we're coming out with a parent merch line soon. So look out for that. Some limited items will be coming to you soon.
And we've got some beautiful designs. So it's not just like Brooklyn Tech, navy and white. I think you guys are going to be excited when you see it.
I put a link. I know Amy put a link. I'm not sure if it works for anybody. We're trying to get the minutes in.
Well, it's not, I'm having an issue with it. If worst case scenario, I can do Evelyn Wood speed reading and get it done.
Can anybody click on the Google Drive link or the link that Tiffany has provided?
I can't get it to, get it to open, and Vito sent it to us as a PDF, so shame on him. The
It's a
Lunar
very
New
large
Year.
file.
I see a question about the Lunar New Year T-shirt, and yes, we're just fine tuning it. The student we had a vote, and we do have a student that their design is beautiful. We're just making sure she's just tweaking it a little bit to make sure it's easy to put on a T-shirt. So we did announce the name of the student, and as soon as the design is fine tuned, it's perfect, we'll post it in Tech Talk. And also on the daily announcement so all the students can see.
Yeah, and it will be on the same website, the platform like last year. We are going to release the link to purchase the merch, like the T-shirt, the tote bag, like last year. We are going to announce in TED Talk, and also all the social media groups like WhatsApp and WeChat, Facebook, like last year.
Oh yeah, I can get the minutes if I go to Amy's link. Yes, I've got it as well.
Yeah,
So-
use Amy's.
We're gonna give you guys a few minutes if you want to look at the minutes, just because we do need to have a vote and approve them. So go ahead and take a look at them. And Mr. Newman should be here shortly. Mary, is there anything else, anything new and exciting going on in the last 2 days before break?
No, but everyone should know that the Regents are in January and there's no classes. So most freshmen do not take, most or all freshmen do not take Regents. So because there's no classes, they will not have school. This is on the school calendar at the Brooklyn Tech website, so you can look at that. Also, the PSAT and I think the SAT is going to be held April 10th and 11th or 11th and 12th for sophomores and juniors, respectively. Again, look on the website for the calendar. The information should be up there. And also Friday is going to be a big travel day, I know. We cannot let minors out without being accompanied by a parent or a guardian or someone else on the blue card. It's just, I get people all the time saying, I have a doctor's appointment, I have this and that. Now, I can let it slide, but I'm really not supposed to. And, parents get irritated if their kids, some parents get mad because their kids have left on their own and, they didn't even come to my office, but, we really need everyone to cooperate. It's just the school policy. So for safety of our kids. So I appreciate that. And just thank you for all your involvement, parents. It's great. Appreciate it.
Hi, Mary, can I ask question about the ID photo? My daughter, the senior, who got into tech like 3 years ago, and her school ID did not have the picture. So is that too late for her to get it?
If your child does not have a school ID, they can still get one.
Okay.
I think I sent
Yeah, I saw your link. I'm just wondering, maybe your target would be the freshman students, but my daughter is a senior, but she does not have the picture on it.
She can get an ID.
Okay,
definitely.
will be great. It will be good with the picture, right? Like on the Brooklyn Tech ID. Okay, I will
Yeah.
tell her to do that. Thank you.
Helpful for exams and things like that, or I don't even know what at this point, because by this point they should be getting a New York State ID card.
Yes, so I have to get that like the ID from the DMV instead, because her ID doesn't have a picture on it, But
Right.
I will tell her to get one for memory. Thank you.
Definitely, anyone in any class, if you want your picture on your ID, because you're supposed to have your picture on ID. Some students apparently take pride in not having their picture on the ID because that's how kids are. But it's mandatory to have your picture on your ID. So
Okay.
parents, check your kids.
Our other committees, is there anybody that has anything to share while we're waiting for Mr. Newman? Anything?
I guess we can also, if anybody has a question for the PA, feel free to write it in the chat.
Yeah, there was a question about the sound system in the auditorium that someone had asked, but Mary answered it. I don't know if she wants to address it verbally or not.
Yeah, there is going to be a new sound system coming before the beginning of spring, so the musical will be saved. The musical is Into the Woods this year. It's always a great performance, so please come to that. It's really good, and you will be pleased and entertained, and you'll laugh and party like Tiffany is.
Guys, we're as good as LaGuardia. I've been to these musicals in the past, and my kid's not involved, so I can say it. They are so wonderful. You really, and if you don't go, your child should go, because they're great musicals. Mr. Rodriguez does an amazing job with these students, and our kids could rival LaGuardia any day.
It's not Mr. Rodriguez, is it? It's Eddie
Velasquez. Sorry. Been a long day. Been a long day.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Eddie. I apologize, because I know he's going to come one day and talk to us. So,
Yeah, and
okay,
tomorrow
never tell him I said that.
There are a
Tomorrow
couple of
night-
questions. There are a couple of questions out there. I'll take a stab at it. Speaking of the sound system, just to piggyback what Mary said, it's a three-way contribution to make things happen here in Brooklyn Tech. So PA make a third of its contribution, the alumni makes another third of it, and then Mr. Newman was able to get some funding from the DOE to make the magic happen. So to answer one of the questions, yes, we do work hand in hand with the school as well as the Alumni Foundation to make magic happen here in Brooklyn Tech. And we do not have a Venmo account. So the best way to support the PA financially is through the donation link. You will get a receipt, email receipt automatically within seconds. So if you need that for your IRS tax return filing purposes, you will find that very handy. If you give me a check, I would obviously go to the bank, make the deposit, and I will manually create a receipt for you to receipt to get it in the email system. Okay. So that's what I have see in the chat. So
There's another one, does the PA collaborate with the alumni organization? As Ken said, we collaborated for the sound system, but we also collaborate with the faculty grants, which usually is in the spring. So we'll do it this spring for next year. And ultimately what we do is it's very similar to our teachers wish list, which thank you everyone who donated. I was just texting Amy earlier and she said we fulfilled, I believe 90% of the orders were paid. I'm sorry, I got muted. Teachers have the opportunity to put in some requests, things they want for their classroom, for the students, supplies, books, textbooks, anything. And we went through the list, we approved it, or, some things couldn't be approved, unfortunately, but we approved a great number. And Amy and Lorraine have been so hard at work ordering for the teacher's wish list, but similarly in the spring, we also do the faculty grants, which is a very similar approach where the teachers and staff, the APs, they just put in their requests and we go through it with the Alumni Foundation with Mr. Newman and we donate. I'm not sure if Ken has the numbers. I don't want to put him on the spot, but how much we donate to our faculty grants, but that's essentially the second opportunity for staff to get things for the classroom and things done for the school.
So last year, previously we wrote a check for $75,000. This year we upped the budget to $100,000. So again, we make things happen together with our graduates. So thank you for your support.
All right, Monique, I know you're back, and I just wanted to let you know, Naeem talked a little bit about the breakfasts and dinners with the principals. Or
okay.
anything else you'd like to add?
Um, yeah. Sorry. I'm a
Go
little
right ahead.
rattled. I'm doing a lot of year-end work. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say that for those who didn't make it to the breakfast, you missed a good time. And the next round, I don't know if they're going to be more this year, but if not, there's always next fall. And be sure to sign up and be sure to show up and, have your one-on-one with the principal. And that's it. And have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays to everyone. That's
And,
it.
and,
Thank you.
and thanks, because Monique's been organizing this. Everyone's been signing up and she's making sure, she compiles the list, gets it to security, gets it to us, whoever's running it. And she's also run several of the breakfast and dinners. So she's done a lot of work. So thank you very, very much for all you've
problem.
done.
Yeah, thank you,
And-
Monique, because I know we
problem.
kind of threw you to the wolves. It's her first year in the PA, and she just really attacked it very.
No, it's been fun. It's been fun. And I learned things, so it's great. And Mr. Newman's, he's amazing. So
All right. Well, Mr. Newman is on his way. So in the meantime, I hope everyone's had a chance to take a look at our minutes from November. And so what we'd like to do is approve the minutes. Does anyone have any objections? Do we have would anyone like to say, go ahead and approve the minutes? Anybody?
It's Ken. I'll take the motion. I need
Thank you.
somebody to
Anyone want a
second.
and
second?
I'll
Anyone-
second.
Bless you. All right, then the minutes are
Third.
approved for for November. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And we'll make sure they're in Tech Talk, the December minutes. And we will be taking a break from Tech Talk for the next 2 weeks because no one wants to read Tech Talk in the next 2 weeks. Everyone's enjoying the end of the year and the new year. So, but we're going to be right back at you in 2025.
Like January 2nd?
Yeah, well, maybe close. We'll see. Mary, I love your background, by the way. It makes me think of Christmas. That's such a beautiful background.
I know my sweater goes so well with it too.
You look like you're in an Ansel Adams like photograph there. Yes.
Hoping that that's what it's gonna be like over the holidays. So if not, it can be just fake. It can be AI. I don't know where he is. He said he was coming in now.
All right, he should be. And does any more questions?
Oh yeah, if you to start piling up questions for Mr. Newman, you can.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, put them in the chat.
And just in case anyone has any leads for the, sponsors, Naeem left his information. You can also email pa.president@bths.edu and we'll get it to him, but he also left his personal information. So thank you.
And everybody, as you're getting holiday gifts, think about if you get something you really like, a basket or something like a corporate that you're never going to, we'll take anything, any gift cards that you're never going to use. We can put those in a basket and raffle them off. So when you regift to us because we can really make good use of that.
So does anybody have any questions for Mr. Newman?
Yes, please feel free to put them in the chat because he will be here momentarily.
Then there'll be a whole bunch of questions to answer. Anything about homework or finals, regents, Christmas vacation?
Thank goodness. I'm so glad that they changed that we didn't have Monday because we were originally going back Monday, right? And they changed that because some sweet young student like begged to have Monday off and I'm so happy. I'm grateful to that child.
You think there was only one student? Irina, he can get his new picture if he wants. He doesn't have to, but he might want to. You can ask him.
And while
she asked if her son in the chat if her son has a picture on his ID from middle school. Does he need to make a new one? No, but if he wants to, he can.
And while we have Mary here with her beautiful background, we'd like to thank Mary because the teacher wish list is wonderful. And our PA has been working tirelessly, Amy and Lorraine, ordering all these things, but all these things are being delivered to Mary. And so the UPS people must despise you. But she's been great with having all these boxes come into her office and then get sent off to the teachers. So she's really been a trooper
It's fun. It's like
accepting
a
all of
Santa.
this.
I like it. It's fun. The first day was overwhelming, but after that, I had some elves help me label all the boxes and stuff, and then, people were pretty great. So
And it was great because we were able to do it earlier this year. So we got the Black Friday deals. So we saved money on a lot of it. So, and Mary's like, just send it all. If you're getting a sale, go ahead and send it. So that was fantastic. And we really appreciate you being so flexible with the space in your office.
after the parent teacher conferences, I have more time. It's like super, super busy between like July and the parent teacher conferences, and then everything kind of settles a little bit until the next parent teacher conferences. So it's good. Statistics for the parent teacher conference. I don't have them here.
I see the question about Ms. Massey. Ms. Massey comes almost every year to talk to us. So if you do have questions, we could certainly ask her if she would attend.
Yeah. There's also a question about the Regents. I don't think it's clear. So unless your student is scheduled to take a Regents exam, they do not have school. I'm putting it in the chat now, the Regents schedule. One thing I will say is I think they may schedule MAPS testing for freshmen and or sophomores. I'm not, don't quote me on that, but that's what happened in the past. Also, if they're off from school, you should also check with any coaches, clubs, things of that nature, because being off from school doesn't necessarily mean you're off from practice or rehearsals or games or, so just check with their coaches about Regents Week, but unless they're scheduled for a Regents exam or maybe a MAPS test, which they will get an email about, they should not be coming to school. There's no classes that day. And someone also asked about, should students be studying over the break when our finals?
The final exam schedule is on the Brooklyn Tech website and also is the Regents schedule. So you can look at that on the calendar, but usually I think the finals are the week before the Regents. I think that's correct. And there are classes, obviously.
Yeah, it actually says final exam and Regent schedule, the link that I posted. I didn't realize it also had finals.
Great. You can ask Mr. Noon about studying over break because there's a policy about that. And he can explain it succinctly. They should have an assignment, but it shouldn't take more than one weekend assignment in any class. So it can't be a giant project that takes 13 days. But he can address that if that's not enough. For the Valeria, there's if you ow, my cat just dug into me. Okay, so Valeria, can you email me and I'll send you the information about the well, did you get the email you should have got an email I sent out about replacing the ID picture because you're a mother of a freshman. And the link is in there and the instructions are in there. If not, just email me at mhune@nycschools.gov, at schools.nyc.gov, and I will send the information. There were so many missends at the beginning of the freshman year before deadline, like pictures were mislabeled. It was just a disaster. So we had to start again. The date, Lucian, the sophomore students do take the PSAT in April, and that is on the calendar, the dates for that. Susan Chan Olson, at the bottom of the daily announcements, I believe it has every place where the lost and found is in the building. So just scroll down to like 1/3, 2/3 down, I believe, and I think you'll see everything where the there's like 4 different places. Everything where
depending on what you lost, you have to go to a different spot.
Yeah, so just look at the daily announcements. We're going to answer the questions for Newman. So he's going to come in and be like, no, the wish list isn't posted. It's just for teachers. We don't post that. They make a request to the PA They fill out a form. Mr. Newman goes over it, the PA goes over it, and they decide what is valid for their classrooms, etc. And then they start ordering. And Amy and Lorraine start ordering away. It's been amazing. They've gotten amazing equipment for so many different things.
Mary, I have a question about the student ID. I just verified with my daughter. Her student ID photo, it's from middle school. But when she scanned it in the school, it is the picture that we uploaded to Balloon Tech.
You can ask her to go to BW2 and talk to Mr. McNeil, and he can straighten it out for her. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Again, the whole schedule for the regions is on the website. So Tiffany posted that link above. She can post it again, and you can look at all the schedule there. But yeah, she also noted English for juniors and any makeup or retakes. Oh, there he is. Mr. Newman, we're done filling air. Ouch. Mayday. Stop it. My cat just attacked me.
I've got barking dogs. You've got a cat. So there, yeah, it's like Wild Kingdom here.
Yeah.
All right.
You got to make him host and stuff.
I will as soon as, but he should be able to.
Mr. Newman, are you here?
He was here. I let him in.
He is. There he is.
There he is.
Welcome, Mr. Newman.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Sorry, I'm a little tardy. Hope some people are still here. Thanks for waiting. I don't know if you've compiled any questions, but I have answers if you have any questions.
Mary's been answering them all. So.
Oh, so see, that's what it is. I should have even come.
Studying over break.
What was that?
Should students be studying over break? Is there homework? Should they be studying? What's the policy?
I mean, well, students should be taking a break. There's a break for a reason. So I wish everybody to enjoy their break. That being said, we do have a policy that is on our website that teachers may, in certain courses, if they feel that they must, they may give homework, but not like full break homework, somewhat the equivalent of a weekend assignment. So they can't give like a major project or anything like that. Furthermore, that assignment needed to be given a week ago, so that if a student was going away, they could have done it, this week, so that it's already done and they didn't have to do it over their break. So surely a teacher could not give you a break assignment this week. It would have had to been given in the very latest last run. So hopefully, if you have any issues about any assignments, surely let me or the assistant principal of the department know, and we can clean that up, before or during the break, so that we can get you some relief. But the idea, and the teachers know this, is for that students to have a break. But if they feel, some AP teachers and whatnot feel like I can't lose any time, and they might give a small assignment. But once again, they would have had to give it last week, a week ahead of time before the break.
All right, David, in the chat, there's a question there from Jill. Do you see it? Can you see the chat?
No, I can't. I'm on my phone.
Sure. Is there any thought to changing the cell phone policy so that students do not have them during the school day? I know everyone has strong opinions on this topic, exclamation point.
Yeah, I could talk at unbelievable length about this, but currently I have surely no plans to ban cell phones across the board. Not currently. And as people know, there's a lot of talk about it. The former chancellor seemed like on the precipice of banning cell phones, and then it didn't happen. And then now we have a new chancellor who didn't seem to pick up the mantle on that. I like the notion, and the former chancellor at the end was at this place as well, of
Oh, David's breaking up.
Oh, good? No?
Better?
Can you hear me, Mary? Okay.
Yeah.
So, so we do see some benefits to cell phone use in classrooms. We do not see a plague of problems that happens in some other schools where cell phones get in the way of instruction. We see them assisting instruction in many ways. We don't really have problems of kids misbehaving by using their phones when they should be doing it. I mean, that's a classroom management issue that our teachers are very well adept at. And so I don't know. I don't. Now, there's other problems, right? You know, the mental health problems and whatnot surely associated with cell phone use and social media and stuff. And I could talk unbelievably at length about that. But anyway, to cut to the chase, currently we are not entertaining the notion of banning cell phones, which is, you can imagine also logistically in a school of our size would be quite challenging to put into place.
Okay. One mother says too much homework assignments for my senior younger son. My senior son. Mom is crying here. My senior younger son. I don't know what that means by senior younger son, but I guess senior younger son.
I don't know. Well, look, there are rules.
Graduated from here.
Okay, there are rules around homework. Classes can give 20 to 30 minutes of homework, maybe a little bit more if it's an AP class. If you find that a particular teacher is exceeding the limitations on homework that they could give, I would say first and foremost, talk to the teacher. They might not be aware of how long it's taking everybody to do homework. And if that doesn't work itself out, you simply go to the assistant principal who will, give the teacher assistance on honing their homework in. The goal is not to, destroy kids with homework. The goal is twofold, either to reinforce concepts you learned in class that day, or to give you a bit of a preview to hit the ground running for the concepts you're learning tomorrow. Both are valid pedagogical practices, but there surely doesn't need to, for example, practicing math equations of something that you learned in class today is great. You don't need to do 50 a night sort of thing. I understand that math teachers believe that, muscle memory is a big thing and practice makes perfect and whatnot. But I would speak to the teacher and let them know how much, and other students could chime in and say, yes, I agree. It's taking us an hour a night, not 20 minutes, not 30 minutes a night. And once again, if things are not getting better, just go to the assistant principal, and the assistant principal can very quickly assist the teacher to hone in, especially the duration of how long it takes to do homework.
Mr. Newman, how often is that policy, addressed with the teachers? Are they reminded? Because some parents are saying that hasn't been the case for the past few years.
What do you mean? It hasn't been the case that I've reminded teachers?
The students are getting, homework assignments for the breaks and,
Right. The teachers, about the vacation assignments, teachers are surely reminded. Last week, I even sent them the policy directly in their email to let them know, hey, if you're giving an assignment, you have to give it by this Friday, and this is the policy, just to remind you all. And we do, a whole 2 days of PD before the students start in September, and surely we go over homework policies and whatnot from the very beginning. Look, it's not just a reminder. Obviously, every year we have 20 or so new teachers who have never seen the policy. So they're not expected to just go through the website and look at everything under the sun. So we go through in the first 2 days policies, like no one's heard it before, because there are some new teachers in the room every year. And so, but it's a refresher, reminder for everybody else.
Okay. Any more questions? I don't see anything.
I saw something just pop up on AP Physics, but I can't see it anymore.
Their junior student didn't get a C for AP Physics. He'll apply next school school year as a senior. So are there enough seats available for seniors to take the class?
Well, I'm gonna say that, I don't know how to say enough seats. Everybody who applies doesn't necessarily get in. Usually it's based on grades. That being said, especially for Physics 1, we're looking to expand seats and expand sections over year. There'll be at least 2 additional sections over this year, possibly more. So hopefully you'll find a seat. And so, but once again, for many courses, it is difficult to accommodate every single student, especially for courses that students do not need for graduation, if that makes sense, right? And so, but we are expanding seats, at least expanding 68 seats year over year. And so hopefully your kid will get it.
There's a question about, do you have the names of certain agencies that help with the college process?
We don't recommend or advertise for any, like vendors or people that, charge fees and whatever. We obviously provide college services in-house. But if you want to seek out somebody, we don't really prefer anyone, have any deal with anyone. It's difficult for us to advocate for somebody who's charging money. It's a little bit of a conflict.
Of course. All right. Next question we have is, do all grades take the MAPS assessment every year?
Not all grades. Well, I'll say this, in many schools that is the case. For us, it's only ninth grade. And so we use PSAT data for the 10th grade. So the 10th grade, which the school pays for, takes the PSAT in spring. They'll take it spring this year in April. And then the juniors, same kids, will take it again in October. And we compare the data from April to October, and it gives us meaningful data, maybe more enriching than the MAPS itself. And then obviously the same juniors then take the SAT the following April, so we can compare the PSAT data to the SAT data. So we have 10th grade and 11th grade pretty good. The MAPS is both in ELA and math, and obviously so is the PSAT and SAT in ELA and math. And so that's that. But the 9th grade, we give MAPS on 3 iterations to see if people are on ELA and mathematics, like the level they should be at. And if not, we point out, surely deficiencies to teachers and parents alike, and put in interventions to get students where they need to be.
All right, we have one. I'm not sure if it says, not sure if this is a question for this PA meeting, but does physics tutoring for freshmen take place every morning, second period? Also, is the Wednesday evening tutoring Zoom meeting done by a teacher or by students? Does the tutoring on Wednesday evening go on for the full 2 hours? Not sure you can answer that.
Okay. The first one, I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know when physics tutoring is. There's a tutoring schedule on the website. The second part of the question I absolutely can answer. So there is a physics teacher. All the Zumba teachers on Wednesday evening does meet for 2 hours, but you could come in the middle of those 2 hours. You can come in after half an hour. It's just like the teacher is waiting there. So how it works is you come into a Zoom room, an assistant principal is there, and then asks you, what do you want in tutoring today? And you say physics, and then there's a physics breakout room, not with a student, with one of our physics teachers. You go in there. Let's say you get tutoring for half an hour and you're done. You could get bounced back to the host room where an assistant principal will say, you want some more tutoring? Oh, you want tutoring for ELA? And then they bounce you to the ELA room. There are teachers waiting in breakouts for all these courses, just sitting there for the entire 2 hours, waiting for kids, and kids sort of come and go. Sometimes a kid might stay for 2 hours. That's pretty rare, actually. Most of the time they stay for some period shorter than that, even if they come at the very beginning. And so you could bounce around to different tutoring that's available on Wednesday evenings.
All right, one more question. My 9th grader is taking geometry and AP Bio. Is she taking the geometry Regents? Seems early. Also, I assume the AP Bio test is in the spring.
So we'll be taking a geometry Regents. That is in June, not now in January. That's in June. And then, yes, the AP Bio College Board AP examination will be in May this year.
All right, do we have any other questions for Mr. Newman? Run, Mr.
There's
Newman,
something about-
run. Anything
No,
else?
there's something. Yeah, I see one. It
Oh,
says
yeah,
when
we
a
have one
stu-
more, yes.
You got it. When a student got assigned a school college counselor, but not the guidance counselor. Your student as a ninth grader got assigned a guidance counselor and has the same counselor all 4 years. So they surely have one and are assigned one. If you don't know what it is, it sounds like maybe you're a junior, like a senior. That would be scary that you don't know who that is, but you could simply go into Jupiter and see who the counselor is. But your student has a counselor assigned in ninth grade, follows you all 4 years. Later on in their career, they get assigned a college counselor that sort of puts a bow on the whole college process for them and guides them through the finish line. Well, lots of guidance counselor questions. What is the role of the guidance counselor? How many times do they meet with students assigned to him? So the role of the guidance counselor is just to give you, it is to give you academic guidance. If there's something like emotional or something else going on, very often the guidance counselor will hand you off to a social worker who is, for lack of a better term, a trained therapist. But back to the guidance counselor, they give you academic guidance. Most often you end up interacting with them when things are, when you have questions, when maybe something's going awry academically, and that they're to give you supports. I mean, you should be in the very minimum, you must meet with your guidance counselor once a year, but also realize that come senior year, your guidance counselor is going to be writing you a college rec. It's a good idea to get to know them a little bit, right? And so that's that. But surely early on ninth grade, they're disproportionately working with students in their caseload that are struggling to acclimate themselves to Brooklyn Tech. And so if you're not struggling, if everything's okay, they might not seek you out. You have some questions, you have some things that you want to discuss, you seek them out. They're available lunch periods. It's right next to the cafeteria. You stop in. If they don't have any time right then to meet with you, they'll make an appointment with you, if they're meeting with a student and whatnot. But so, yeah, so social workers, more emotional and that type of support, trained therapists, guidance counselors, trained in academic guidance, but they also walk you through the college process. They'll also help you make a list, so they start the college process with you, your list of colleges that you might want to go. They pick your brain and whatnot. And then there's a handoff to your college counselor at some point, but not a handoff as in you don't have your guidance counselor anymore, a handoff just on the guidance process, just to make sure everything's, to get you across that finish line, your applications.
All right, here's and Tiffany answered this already, but my son used to have Mr. Kristoff as his counselor, but then his counselor changed, my daughter as well. However, he liked Kristoff so much he continued to go to him. He won't see the new one. Is Kristoff not a counselor? No, he is an AP, and he is a wonderful AP.
Yeah, so he is now the head of the department, so he supervises all the counselors. So he does not have a caseload anymore. Knowing him, I'm sure he will entertain a conversation, especially if there is something awry or there's some problem, right? But yeah, I mean, he serves another role now, so he had to hand off his caseload to another counselor.
Let's invite him to the next meeting.
But yeah, he's still there, and he is wonderful. All right, the next question: what is the role of the guidance counselor? How many times do they meet with students assigned to them?
Well, that's the one I just answered.
Yes. Okay. All right. In continuation to what you just mentioned, can Kristoff write his college recommendation? My son seems to have a good rapport with him.
Ask him. There's no way he's going to say no.
Oh, yes, he will not. Yes. Tell your son. But the quicker you reach out when you need a college recommendation, reach out quickly, because there's a lot of students at Brooklyn Tech, And it's overwhelming for the teachers that are writing them. So tell them to reach out very, very quickly. All right, this looks, we've got a few. My son, who's a junior, missed the SAT test that took place 2 weekends ago on December 7th. How worried should I be that we missed that date? Will he be getting SAT tutoring January?
Should not be worried at all. Juniors take the SAT that we provide for free in April. That is when most of the students take it. Most of the students actually take it once, that one time. Hopefully you take it, you get a good score, you're happy, you're all good. So taking it early in December, I'm not saying that was a bad idea, but no harm, no foul that you missed it. Take it in April with the entire junior class during the school day, free of charge, paid for by the school. Actually, not true, paid for by the city.
All right, do we have anything else, Tiffany?
I don't see it. Mary just said, let's take one more question so Mr. Newman can get home and return in time for breakfast tomorrow.
That's right. He's got a breakfast with the principal tomorrow.
It's the last one.
I won't be there, sadly.
What else is new, Mary?
Huh?
Huh? What? Where are you? You skiing out there? What's going on? You skiing? You should put on a coat.
That's why I'm not gonna be at the breakfast.
See, they don't have Bagel Boy bagels, so that's why she's not coming.
Are you bringing Bagel Boy bagels?
I'm not there.
Oh, okay.
I will bring
was
them
gonna-
to you in January, in the new year.
I was gonna bring you some Oreo cream cheese, Mary.
Oh,
But anyway.
Oh, I'm not coming now.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. We've had such a great turnout, which we really are really pleasantly surprised, because we know everybody's busy this week. But do we have any other topic, anything else for Mr. Newman before we let him run and get ready for bagels tomorrow? Run, Mr. Newman, run.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Nice talking to you for a little bit. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
So let's
Happy
get a
holidays.
motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn and then on the board.
Awesome.
Yes.
We take it. Anyone in the audience? Thank you. Anyone second? Thank
Sarah.
you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Happy holidays
Good
to all.
night.
Thanks for
Happy
coming.
holidays.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.